I'm home. You can probably tell if you've watched any of these. Here I am at home in the Parkdale / Liberty Village area of Toronto. I got back, I got in yesterday evening and then stopped by at the local brewery pub outlet, Big Rock Brewery at Liberty Commons, Liberty Village. Grabbed a few tall cans and relaxed. Actually did some songwriting. As you can see, we got some songwriting environment here. There's my backpack with my passport hanging out, my driveway documents, my shades. I didn't have the hat with me, but I had the scarf and the hat that Robin made. Good odds you're going to die down there if you're a snowbird, especially getting up there in the years. So that's where people like me come in. I'm the one that brings the car back after they've died. But in this case, the NASCAR fan, he's alive. He's in the hospital, though, out there in London. And, it's sounds dire for him. So it goes. Anyway, so there was a few cut-off scopes from the Via Rail train. Had a nice little ride into Union Station, walked up to King Street, took the streetcar down. Anyhow, I was going to talk about the mistakes that I made, and there's probably always going to be mistakes. It's hard to be perfect, but in drive away, there's so many things that can go wrong, so many different little things that can go wrong. So obviously you want to simplify everything and not leave very much to chance. But this time, my mistakes were all in the preparation. The execution was all fine. Preparation was a little weak. For one, I didn't bring an 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch stereo cable so I could get entertainment or edutainment from my phone machine into the car. And that would have allowed me to listen to some podcasts or some of my own canned music on there, some recorded music. But, I survived. I listened to terrestrial radio, and I had some silent time too. You can get some good thinking in or get some good musical thinking in while you have some silent time on the road. But I normally would at least have one 1/8 inch to 1/8 inch stereo cable, if not two. And another thing that I didn't bring, because I was so rushed in preparing, I was working a Joe job before I left, is I didn't bring a cigarette lighter adapter to a USB. So is that 12 volt? I forget, AC 12 volt or something. But the plug that goes into a cigarette lighter of a car and into USB to charge your phone. Luckily, I didn't need it this time because the car had a USB jack, but sometimes in older vehicles or whatever, there is no USB jack, so you need to charge your phone. And so that's something that I forgot, but I didn't necessarily need as well. And then one of these, which I'm sure many of us are familiar with, which is a USB to micro USB adapter or cable. I only brought one, and typically if I was as prepared as I should have been, I would have brought two of those, and the one that I did bring started to look a little bent, so if it had stopped charging my phone, I would have had to buy one. It's not that hard, but especially on the interstate, like gas stations, Flying J's, truck stops, blah, 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 they sell those cables, but at a premium, I'll tell you that. So, but the cable I had, it did last. It did work out. But having a faulty cable like that, be it if you're driving or in the non-driving part of your trip, having your cable go on you can really affect your trip, believe me. Luckily, I survived, and actually, so you don't necessarily need your phone to be charged. However, I definitely needed navigation in this case because there was no navigation built into the car. So yeah, important. And I also, for whatever crazy reason, I usually have my paper atlas, my North American road atlas, but I was so tired and crazy before I left that I didn't even bring that. Didn't even bring my atlas. But actually this time, oddly enough, I decided to do something that I should have been doing the whole time, that is grabbing some complimentary maps at rest stops and especially welcome centers. And I don't know if I just haven't noticed them before, but I love maps, so I actually grabbed a few and I put some up on my wall. Check it out. There's Kentucky, Michigan, Alabama, city map of Birmingham, Alabama. But yeah, maybe that's a product of the fact that I didn't bring my paper atlas. It's something a little bit more satisfying to look at a paper atlas, be it at a diner or whatever, to get a mental grip of where you're going and not always have to. You see the same thing, of course. I think you light up a different part of your brain when you look at a paper map. I know that there's some studies where they look at the brain waves of people who are reading on a screen compared to reading on paper, and it lights up a different part of your brain. Anyhow, keep that in mind, road warriors out there, that these awesome complimentary maps are available at rest stops all over the place, apparently. Not everyone can read a map. Well, yeah, I do recall in second grade, as the Americans would say, or grade 2, they did teach us how to read a map in school. And I do recall seeing articles not too long ago saying that paper maps are going to go extinct. But I flat out don't believe that. I don't think paper books are going to go extinct too. I think people get a little ahead of themselves sometimes. A lost art, yeah, like navigating with the stars. It's something that is a genuine concern among modern humans, is that in some kind of technological disaster like a electromagnetic pulse, that will suddenly we will have lost so many different abilities that we had before, like navigating via the stars or even reading maps, all sorts of things, because we will have digitized so many of our skills that suddenly if we don't have access to this digital information, we'll be fish out of water, really. We'll be hooped. Anyway, as I said, I did have to get a Joe job, which means that this may be my last drive-away trip, or maybe just my last for a while. It's my last at least for 2 weeks, depending on the different factors. Who knows? Maybe Boss R will pull through and I'll have another few months or something on the road. I would like that. I've definitely got into drive-away mode. But also, when I got home, I definitely felt inspired to make music. I live in Toronto, sir. Outdoor living for me. It's a good way to be. Toronto, Ontario. But I just went on a trip from Panama City, Florida to London, Ontario, delivering a vehicle. Anyhow, yeah, like I said, I was really busy before I left. Chicago. Chicago. I've met a lot of people from Chicago. They seem to be jumping ship, dispersing around America. And there's a gentleman here in Toronto that I know, that I see. He's a bartender at a place where I used to work. I see him sometimes. Talk about America. Anyhow, I'm just doing laundry right now. That's why I have my filthy painter pants on. Well, they're not filthy. It is crazy in Chicago. Maybe you should move up to Michigan or something. I even know it's crazy in Chicago, but it's particular neighborhoods, though, right? Not the whole thing. I actually try to avoid Chicago, and I try to avoid Illinois as much as possible. Yeah, as for an outdoorsman, I read a whole book about the UP in Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, and it's a unique piece of topography out there. Anyway, my laundry is currently drying, and I better almost get back to it. Very neighborhood specific. Well, thanks for tuning in, and signing off. Rambler Rogue. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you like. Follow me on Facebook if you're still into that. Bye-bye.